in the making just to get to this global championship. 3 different majors, so much heartbreak, emotion, and passion going into this moment.
Tags applied from a distance, but this is what it's really all about. Rangers ruin for Noxy. Pablo's already down for Noxy with the sweeper. He's trying to see if he can wrap around, provide a little bit of supportive measures. Triz is gonna fall. This could be everything right now, but Chino, he's trying to wrap around. Chino knows we might as well just finish this elimination off. We don't want to allow any kind of revive opportunity. 2 eliminations locked in though, with Tayson having fallen to Chicho. Chicho barely standing, but it's all for Noxy, Pablo, and Chino to win it out. Now let's see what they're really about for these end games. A little bit split from Flicks. Flicks gonna build right back up where his teammate's at. He needs some of these chuck splashes, but of course, another rotate. There is no time to stop, especially with Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstash right back at home base on the high ground.
That happened so fast, you blinked, you might have missed it, because now there's a whole nother team on top. They're getting battled out, chopped down even once, but the consistency for them to remain in the clouds is absolutely amazing. Swizzy, Merstash, and Queasy making it look easy down below. Everybody is at their disposal, and this is where we know what they do. They just target out second height over and over and over. They reconnect along the way, so teams are going to have to think of something different here compared to yesterday.
Savage Chef and Reason seem like they're a little bit more intent on just trying to stake out these front side rotations, but for Clix and Yamzo, it's likely going to be a backside of zone play. They're going to have to find a refresh. They have hardly any materials to work with. Yamzo doing what he can to drop whatever builds he can for Clix, but there's nowhere safe to tarp out through inside of these lower layers. Everybody is frazzled here. Yapko, Panther, and Seti also in a very strong top 3 position, and they want to hold on to it, Jacob.
They don't want to let it go. They worked way too hard to get this far. To go down here in 15th place. Storm Surge still active, forcing players to fight one another. Even though they have to rotate to the zone, they're trying to keep their 3rd place spot intact. They're only 8 points behind as we stand in this game, but Merstash, Swizzy, and Queasy are just double tarping, making sure to reinforce. But Venno, their two are trying to look up. At one point or another, maybe 2 zones ago, they were the team on high ground, but it got stolen away. Upstones Acorn, they're ready to battle it out. M8 versus M8 as Poyo's ready to take on the competition, but towards the backside of zone, they chop it all down. Queasy, he saw that one coming from a mile away.
That's exactly why they had Merstash over ahead, still looking to try and build things out here, but Swizzy blocking off Acorn so professionally. Everybody's been chopped up. They're all falling down. Agers has been eliminated. Poyo and Acorn trying to go right back up on the height, but it's Malabuka, it's Lux, it's Ping. They're the ones that have fully overthrown the high ground. They're the ones that are ready to find their first victory royale.
Merstash, Queasy still as a duo, but they're still holding that 1st place spot. Kanata is going to go down. Only 3 of the teams in our top 5 still alive. Merstash, Queasy, they're trying to be heroes, but Queasy not only takes a big shot, he loses Swizzy across the way. Merstash has to figure out a way to reunite into the same box, and they do that very, very quickly, but it's not going to matter. Queasy goes down. Merstash gets the elimination, but he's all by himself.
The family sacrifice might have been everything that they needed, though. Merstash tarping like a madman, just trying to block off every possible angle. He knows there might be an opening, a teammate underneath that's just so much worse off than he currently is. But instead, it's both Kanata and Rapid. He's looking to play spoiler, but he can't get enough damage applied. Merstash still somehow, some way, tarping through this middle layer, and nobody seems to be cutting him off just yet, but he's running out of material, and Malabuka watched from overhead. They've lost Ping. Ping thought that he could take out Darm in the process. Instead, he loses his own life.
Somehow, Rapid, Kanata, Bolts all still alive on the low ground. Even with Bolts going down, they got the front side of zone and a chance to get the revive. A couple eliminations being cleaned up. Biko trying to stay alive. Malabuka and Walk still on high ground, raining fire down from above. They get that knock on the Kanata, and you see the Flowberry Fizz coming out. They're getting ready. The inevitability, the drop down from above, it comes in. Kanata gets cleaned up. The Siphon comes into play. Walks is doing damage. Malabuka is causing pain.
Walks and Malabuka, they might just be able to do it, Chap. Not going to be able to withstand the pressure here. Malabuka with a huge cleanup shot. Walks now just needs to seal this one out. And just like that, Malabuka and Walks, they take down
Luka walks and pings, that took it all, Frankie.
Having a little bit too much fun with it, but you know there's so much fun to go around. We just couldn't keep it all to ourselves, Jacob, to maybe try and make that approach towards holding height, but it's still very early.
Is this the Boo height game? Are we finally getting to see it here on land?
We finally got a chance here. 411 points. These are the ones that are essentially hot on the heels of that first place team. They're building out, looking for opportunities to reconnect. You see Marius focusing down that second height. It may not be an AR, but the damage is still there. But Flixie and Benno, they both go down. Vico's still 59 below the damage threshold. He does have minis. He does have some big pop, even a med miss. But the miracle thing is that Storm Surge is going to turn off. It's going to reactivate later on in this game, but at least he knows where he stands.
But they were just constantly teeter-tottering for far too long on that surge threshold. Mr. Savage in a very similar position. He's just trying to get out of the low ground, but he won't get the chance. Chap falls directly after him, and that's going to be a little bit of open ground now for somebody else to try and roll through in this ultimate lower layer. But still, Swizzy, Mustache, Queasy, they are plotting for that height take.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when you see a team fighting on zone transition. You want to be ready to rotate. These guys are Queasy scouting out the rotate. Where can he find an angle to use that crash pad? Gonna have to create more space to do it.
That one's going to be easy. Gets to the other side with ease. He's not even distracted by the other players in his path. He knows, get to the front side of zone, control the pace, control the tempo, worry about it later. And there's very few players next to him on that side. Cammy, iDrop, Hottie going to be one of them. But on the high ground, there's not been very many teams that can contest them. Pixie, Marius, Vanya, this could be their chance to get that BR. And they get another elimination on the pump. Can they clean it up, though?
I like this from Vico, though. Still just out of sight, out of mind, but he might be able to make a huge play if he can find another elimination. Said no, Vico jumped on first. That's going to be the dream ending here in Game 8 for Benno's team, but Alex resigns. They've just got a little bit more time, a little bit of an extension here. They're going to take the crash pad front side zone, but lower layers have already established themselves. They've got to be careful of not getting chopped out.
Pixie, Darm, Demas, waiting till the last second, crash pad into the front side of zone. Swizzy, Mustache, Queasy, they have the materials. They did not play for the high ground. They're okay being down low in the dirt. They know they're the most dangerous team at this event, especially if you run into them. Kanata bolts, rapid, scramming around, trying to heal up. The splash is coming out, but that's the last of the white heals that Kanata has in his inventory. Up above, there's a team trying to put pressure down. You see them scrambling and forcing them to split up momentarily.
The respect, though, from Queasy to still make the commitment towards the low ground. Meanwhile, Bolts, Kanata, Rapid, just doing everything they can to try and keep themselves up and in the running here. But iDrop, Cammy, they're still looking to break through. They recognize there's an opportunity here. There's a team that might be weak, but they're shooting into a box that nobody's even inside.
Zone's pulling to the south. They got lots to figure out. Swizzy, Queasy now as a duo. We've seen them dominate from the skies, but how good can you guys take it? Swizzy wants it, looks to chop. Pixie, Marius, Vanya, they've held on well for now, but this is the hard part. Can they continue to hold on as the 11th zone ends?
See the double pump coming out from Marius. That's not going to deal a ton of damage or even pressure. Marius is dropping down along with Pixie, staying to the backside of zone. They're making sure nobody can flank him as Bolts takes down Cammy. He is a solo champion on land before, and third parties. He's looking to have a masterclass performance here. 600 points. Swizzy is just trying to keep them going across that finish line, scrambling in and outside of the zone. The slurp juice just a little too late.
He just can't do it. Storm sickness coming into effect. They spent so much time outside of the zone, but now Watts trouble on the high ground here for Vanya. Boo Boo. Watts still trying to see if he can commandeer it for himself. Gonna have to use the Flowberry Fizz. Probably only a matter of seconds before he might get chopped down or force the drop and enter the fight down below. Panzer, Seti, and Yapko, though, 11, they're so healthy.
Yapko, they're looking strong, but can they close it out on the low ground? Demas will fall. And so now, Seti, Panzer, Yapko looking to remind the rest of the competition that they are in it for the win. Watts has no more HP to hold on. The tree will be the only thing stopping it. They just need to connect with the final shot, and the Storm will do the job. They are the favorites, but right now in Leon, you must give them respect. They win game number 7.
Seti, Yevko and Panzer. I started the day saying just a few big games away from that top spot. Frankie, they're just a few games away. Just when it looked like teams would get a chance to catch up, they have another phenomenal game. Even without wins, it's looking like teams aren't able to slow down the masterclass performance of Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstache.
Into the elimination.
Yeah, Razzle got frazzled by Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs, but they're not giving up. And this is a change-up with another knock. Elimination going over to Yamzo. It all comes at a cost because Clicks goes down. Higgs is trying to stay alive, and he does just that. Yamzo helping save the day, and that's the big part from this team. Because remember, there was a moment yesterday. They got a knock. They got an elimination onto Kanata. Higgs wanted to push over. He wanted to fight that fight 3v2. The rest of the team said, nah, 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 let's rotate in. These guys have come for a comeback.
But Pablo, he's last man standing. Paper, still looking to see if he can find him, and Victor V right next to him. Pablo so deeply tucked away into a corner, but he doesn't have a whole lot of options to escape here. Immediately charged in, but Paper, what a shot!
Last time we seen them on this high ground, they weren't able to convert, but this is a second chance for them. And this is a big chance because we're still into the top 15. They have no eliminations for Merstache, Swizzy, and Queasy. They only have 2 placements versus placement points. This is how you close the gap.
They're certain to have seen what that elimination feed looks like, though, but Demas, Darm, Pix, seeing them control the low ground comes as no real surprise, but they know they've got to keep a hold of that front side. They're immediately going to start making their way towards it, but they still got to be careful. Height overhead. Merstache is a solo. He'll be forced to drop to ultimate low. Malabuka creeping directly underneath him, but Merstache, he doesn't realize it. He only has 6 builds. He's trying to conserve as much as he possibly can. He's just so quiet in the background.
Yeah, he's kind of waiting for the zone to force him out, that all these teams bypass him on this rotation and hopefully try to get some sort of a sneak attack. Peterbach holding Ritual still alive in this game as well, but their material count rather low. A lot of the teams being affected by the high ground and the pressure that they keep pouring down, but at least they're 134 above the damage threshold. When it comes to Storm Surge, I think they're good from here on out, and even Pixie from up above getting another knock onto Coyota. Alex cleans that one up, so Luke going on over to him, but they're just pressuring over and over and over, whether it's an AR, the double pump, they're not letting any team look up.
It's an issue though. Anon, Alex resigns from the low ground. They might be able to pick off Yuma, but they got to worry about Pixstar and Demas, who've essentially cut them off. They've completely surrounded Oceania. They're going to be the ones to overtake the front side of zone now, and with Darm leading the charge, spraying back next to Pump, Pars, and Baca, but no one dares to challenge Poland underneath.
That was a good time to take him out. There are 12 placements worth of points still left, more than half still on the leaderboard. Resigns trying to go in. They lose Alex along the way. Underneath, they have to turn back. That's Kanata. They're wreaking havoc on the low ground. Resigns falls all the same. The whole team gets sent back to the lobby. Even Baca's feeling it. Pars has to go on by himself. Vanya's taken down Peter. Nobody has had a chance to look up. They're denying opportunity after opportunity. Marius, Pixie, and Vanya could go all the way.
Without Acorn or Queasy in the lobby, we knew Height was probably going to default to Vanya instead, but Darm, Demas, Pix, they refuse to give it up. They're still looking to bring this one home. Kanata as a solo, Marius with another elimination, just carrying all of the resources back to his Tarper. Vanya down to his final couple of builds, but thanks to that refresh, a little bit further, he can extend that Height take. Pixie thought he could maybe drop. He's got Marius right next to him. They're causing so much catastrophe, but Pixstar and Demas, that's a fight they might be willing to take.
I could count on one hand how many healthy teams are still left in this game. Kanata has no shot. He's trying to get as many placements before he eventually does go down. Vanya, I'm not sure what happened, but he gets knocked. 2 players up on the high ground. Sphinx trying to battle back, but Pixie gets dropped. Marius falls as well. Pixstar and Demas, the underdogs, are looking to take it all because they might be one of the only trios left in this lobby, but I spoke too soon. Darm goes down. They have to get the revive. They're the only team on the low ground in the zone.
Sphinx and Shadow, they don't have a chance. They can't push through. They know they need to find a way to break open, but Darm, that's a big shot. That's all that they needed. Phaser, last standing on height. Pig still trying to see where's his last player. He's looking to chop out Phaser. Whether or not Phaser can even drop, does he have the Flowberry Fizz? Will he fall before he gets the chance? He was hoping somebody else would deal with Poland, but Pix and Demas, this is it. Poskagura reigning through. Pix, Demas, and Darm bring it home.
From underdogs to top dogs. And with Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache going down early, that shoots them straight up that leaderboard.
This is the starting point for where champions are really going to be tested. The battle bus taking off here in game 10. And there's one off-spawn fight that I have a feeling we're going to need to see a little bit of a resurgence from Tayson. Frieza knows Amar is watching. He's trying to deliver the best sort of birthday gift, and what's better than clutching up a nice set of eliminations here to keep the dream going. But Reason starting to get a little lobby focus. Some heavy hitters right in front of him, Demas, Darm, and Pix. But as a solo, what more can he do? He has to stay hidden. He has to conceal himself in the backside of his own. Mustache, he's lost his IGL, he's lost his other fragger. It's Poyo who's taken out his fellow gentlemate. Swizzy eliminated. Agers gonna come at a cost, but the double revive, they might be able to pull it off. They're gonna drop all the way down to the bottom of the mountain face, but it was too far. They weren't intending to stand themselves directly outside with the zone pool. The zone pool is saving them.
Yeah, the zone pool is truly a blessing for Agers, Acorn, and Poyo, because it also stopped them becoming a focus of that lobby on that side. But with Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache having some difficulties in this game, it leaves high ground open for none other than Vanya, Marius, and Pixie. Does anybody challenge that high ground for Noxy, Chino, and Pablo would probably be one of my best bets, but you can see a huge amount of resources missing. 6 HP, only finding bandages, and eventually we'll go back to 2 empty slots.
There's so much metal, all these pre-existing builds, and not only that, but the shift in elevation. Pixie well overhead. He might be able to even see this team scattered through the low ground. They're trying to get whatever hidden positions they can, but Proxy, he runs into the wrong box. Proxy's immediately put down into the dirt. Pablo and Chino, they're gonna have to get it out the mud, and Pablo with the elimination onto Uppel now means that they're stuck inside the building. They've gotta break out.
But this is the point in time in the game. Top 17 teams still left alive. Placement points will start to click in with every team that falls, cascade further and further, with the eventual winner getting 65 points. But in the feed, you see Chino, he's going to go down.
Oh no.
Yep, that puts pain and hunger inside as Pix is now feeling that same pressure. He's gonna fall. Demas is being stuck by himself. He has to try to figure out a way out of this situation because they have no resources. Darm, they're separated just a little bit. No materials, and now the zone and somebody else moving in. But oh my, he does it again. Big Darm is gonna take down Poyo.
And this is exactly why they are the prospects of Poland. Darm just doing everything he can to make the impossible happen. But Marius, Pixie, Vanya, they're just so healthy overhead. Darm is gonna meet his demise at the hands of Mustache, but Mustache just not enough gas left in the tank. He's taken out. The rage coming through, the frustration is felt. So many placement points lost.
A ton of placement points lost. They got around the top 15. It is wide open if Pixie, Marius, and Vanya can figure out a way to win this game with a certain number of eliminations. For one of the first times today, we could see a new first place team. But Taco, don't let me get too ahead of myself. 2 different games today. We saw them on high ground and they faltered. This could be third chance to Tarm.
But look at the amount of materials they have, Jacob. 85 builds, and that's just on Marius. They are so strongly overhead. The rest of the lobby collapsing into itself. It's cannibalizing itself underneath them. They hardly have to do anything at all. Just spray, suppress, while Pablo continuing to try and push through the storm sickness, tearing away at his back. He finally manages to get inside the zone, but they've been chopped. Pixie saves himself at the last second with the crash pad, but it's Kanata. He's going up. Marius trying to stop it. Marius brings down Bolts. There's no way he's gonna let this one slide away.
The win in itself is not enough for them them to take first. I said they need a certain number of eliminations. Well, that's one step further for taking that top spot. And now the pressure continues. Rapid scrambling around. He has very little builds. Kanata, he is out. Not a single material left. The splashes are running out as well. Pings from F8 trying to make a miracle run continue. 373 points. It is on him for the solo clutch to pick up these points.
Queasy's just a fan of everybody else in this lobby right now. He needs someone to take out height. He needs to see Vanya Boo Boo fall from the top of it all, but Clicks still trying to heal backside his zone. He's got nothing left. Storm's gonna take care of him. Vanya, Pixie, and Mattias, though, refuse to budge. They're not gonna let this one slip through their fingers. For Queasy, it's like grabbing a smoke, watching this lobby try to take them down. Muzz and Shadow still giving some hope. They are a fully intact trio.
There's only 3 full trios left in this game. Shadow, Sphinx, and Muzz are one of them, but they're getting pressured on the other side, on the low ground by King Phaser. P8's in. They're trying to run around, take priority on this zone. They have beaten Muzz up this hill, but they're focusing on the high ground. They ran out of build. It's all turning sideways. Down goes P8's in. King is scrambling. He's able to get one, but it's not enough. 3v3. The eventuality comes in. Marius is dropping down. He wants to finish the fight, but he's going to go down. Vanya trying to stay up. 2 different medkits. 2 splashes left, and it's a 1v3 situation.
Muzz, Sphinx, and Shadow might have just done it. All they have to do is remain fully intact. Vanya still from up above. He's got a couple of chug splashes. He's got a couple of medkits. This might be our first heal-up that we are witnessing, Jacob. He knows he doesn't have any other choice. He's got to fully retreat. Sphinx gonna be the last line of defense. He's violating going forward. He can't manage to figure out where Vanya is at, though. There's so much space in between them. Shadow still has 130 left in the Medmis, but Vanya, 4 bandages, still has the splashes. Is Storm Sickness going to come into effect, or will Shadow manage to do it with the Medmis? Vanya scrambling. He found another medkit. Where does it keep coming from? But he can't hold on. It's completely over. It was an excellent attempt, but Sphinx, Muzz, and Shadow, they find their one.
Game 11. There's only 2 chances left for every team in this lobby from around the world to get points and rise up that leaderboard. We're seeing the top 4. Anything is achievable. But we had Levin on the last broadcast hyping up, representing EU. I had to bring a brother from NA over. Vivid is going to grace us here this time around.
Jacob, they had to bring in all the stops for this one. We've been talking about it all day. Yeah, NA's looking a little rough. We're still fighting for 3rd place right now, but we know how the fights early game are going on. It's all about Rangers Ruin.
And Tayson, gonna be the first touchdown, grabs the chest. Chino running around, but nowhere left to run. Pablo, though, with the sweeper, finds Tayson. It's gonna be Chicho brought down next by Fernoxy. 2 versus 1 scenario, but Atris has a real chance. Atris takes out Pablo. It's all down to the 1v1, and Fernoxy immediately heading for the high ground.
Oh my gosh, it's the same story over and over. The hesitation comes in, right? The elongated fight. We're still in a 2v2. We know the third party's gonna come in, but if you take a look at the map, there's only 1 orange arrow. Maybe the full commit has not come in just yet. We'll have to see how this one plays out.
It's almost like sending in the lone scout to try and figure out, is this really worth getting involved with just yet? But Tayson, Atris, they've got such an advantage now over Pablo and Fernoxy. Their HP rapidly dwindling away here as Tayson now just waiting for that final opportunity, but without a shotgun, he doesn't feel confident enough, and for good reason, because one good bug shot could be the end of it. Fernoxy's gonna opt to try and get away, but Atris just too accurate. Atris immediately panning the other direction, and that'll be the end of Fernoxy's team. They have a slight placement on this side of the mountain, and they are looking down, and guess who's underneath them? Peterbot. Cold Cold, Ritual, Mr. Savage, Captain Reason, so many teams crashing onto this mountain face.
A good chunk of the top 10 overall back into the lobby. Even our 5th place team on that leaderboard missing a player, and one of the more important ones into Rapid as Phaser, PHN, King. They know they're not in zone just yet. In fact, they might have one of the farthest pulls in the entirety of the lobby with Aspect, Tinka, Kazi in their path. They want to continue to roll through. Even with the med kits, even with the minis, they realize they are lacking materials and a ton of them.
Paying attention to the leaderboard of the last global championship. No minor region teams in the top 10. King, Phaser, PHN, they're trying to make that push right now. When you want to talk about a push, Taco, Bolts towards the bottom of the mountain. No mats to work with. Top 5 as it currently stands. The push is on.
What a genius, though. Bolts recognizing that the zone's going to pull over this Big Ben tunnel face. He's going to take a little bit of a harbor safety inside. But King, he's got literally 1 HP and a dream. The small shield potion, he's managed to get it off. But Phaser, only 2 builds remain. He can't keep continuing to hold that leverage over King's head. Instead, Phaser holding on for dear life, but he needs the heal. He won't get the chance. He's gonna be eaten alive by the lobby.
Oh, he pops the crash pad, but instead he goes straight up and back to the lobby with that elimination. That one's gonna hurt, but a lot of those rank ups coming in, and that's an A rank upgrade. That could be fruitful for Bolts underneath, who has to start to think, who has to start to act quick because he has only 8 builds, no heals in his loadout, and no mobility on top of that as we're going high up the mountain.
Bolts doesn't even get a chance really to try stop and check. He's just making sure that he stays concealed towards that backside of zone. But on the high ground, Palad, Hero, FKS, they've actually managed to overtake one of the best positions that we've seen them in all weekend long.
Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, they don't want to walk away from this competition without at least putting some sort of a staple into it. They want to show everybody that, hey, listen, we had a tough time off spawn, but when we make it to the end game, we can put on a show.
Yeah, Bolts just went down off the side of that mountain. Their run in this game has come to an end. Did they get enough to move into the top 4? But Peterbot now battling for it all, and he is by himself. Cold and Ritual are all down below, and he's done it. He's gotten the high ground. He's gotten an elimination. Here he is. He's finally woken up from his slumber, and he's continuing to pressure down and stealing the high ground away. He joins Ritual and Cold on the other side and takes what's theirs.
Yesterday, Peterbot said, it's my day off, but today, it's a whole new beast coming alive here in the final hour. FKS gonna be taken out by Ritual. Aspect as well, claiming that series of eliminations, but Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual, they're now kings of the mountain face, and they might be kings of this lobby if everyone else isn't careful.
There's still more than half of the placement points still available in this lobby, and I think Reason knows it. That's why he's moving to the outside of the zone. He saw 3 different med kits, a replenished amount of materials, and this could be the difference maker in terms of point differential as that leaderboard goes down below. Malabuka, he's struggling all around, rejoins his team. The splashes are coming out, but they're in the backside of the zone. They're sacrificing HP to try to catch any team off guard.
It's because of the way that the zone is pulled over this slight bridge of elevation, though. Malabuka, Ping, they don't have a whole lot of builds. Malabuka is going to be forced to try and play heals, try and acquire whatever placement points are possible. The siphon materials going to give him a little bit of extra time and the 2 med kits, but still, he has to make his way forward, and he's going to have to crash directly into Reed Cooper and Curly. But the moment they head down, they're taken out by Peterbot.
Reed just getting targeted from up above. He loses all of his materials, has no other choice, but another team contests towards the high ground. Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot, they're forced scrambling around, figuring out a way to reunite. The Flowberry Fizz does come out. That's Kisco, that's Striker, that's Kadu. They've taken down NA's best, but it's only for so long. Revenge comes in, and it comes in quick. Cold gets it down onto 1. No siphon just yet. He needs to buy time. No extra builds, and he's facing Reason on the other side. But high ground disrupts the foe. Down they go. 3v3 here for the end game. Kami, Hadi, that's relatively loose because Eyedrop is down. Kadu, Striker, and Tisco, they could take it all.
And this is what the international scene has needed all weekend long, but no! Kami, Hadi, Kami's not gonna be able to make it through. It's only Tisco, Striker, and Kadu left to deal with Hadi, but Hadi, he'll be forced to charge forward. He tries to head towards the high ground, but he just doesn't have the HP. Tisco just needs one more shot, and he finds it! That's gonna be the first victory royale here this
they've showed up. They've reached the top 10 in the leaderboard with a whole nother trio, and this is their chance to shine bright.
It's all come down to this. Jacob, the final battle bus of the weekend is upon us.
But dropping back down low, that just goes to show how active this lobby actually is. But they continue to steamroll. Mustache, Swizzy, and Queasy find their third elimination of the game, taking down NA West.
And you know that Vanya, Pixie, and Marius, they can see it all in the elimination feed. 3 additional elims for Swizzy, Mustache, and Queasy. They have so much ground to cover just from placement points alone, and the elims are doing them no favors whatsoever. But Mustache, Swizzy, it's like Queasy told them, just be off the leash, do whatever you want, just find those eliminations.
Up there it goes, School. Trying to drop down low. He's the first one to get knocked. Sauco followed in that trend. He was trying to be a hero, but ends up a 0, leaving Arc all by himself. That's a ton of pressure for one of the youngest, one of the most aggressive players on his region, but active surge for Pars, Pump, and Baka, 136 below the damage threshold. It does not matter if they have high ground if they can't utilize it, and nobody's giving them any peaks. So they're gonna go ahead and utilize that Flowberry Fizz to get a triple heal going out.
They're stuck looking to heal instead of being able to look for tags. Malabuka watched them being put on so much pressure, but now that they've made their rotation, we're a little bit exposed. Not sure that was enough for Baka, Pars, and Pump to get across the finish line there for the third threshold. And now the med kit comes out. Baka doesn't have anything to work with. It's just those couple of crash pads. He might as well leave them somewhere for his teammate to pick up. But Pars, just looking at this loadout, Jacob, he's got barely anything to work with.
0 ammo in his AR. It's literally just 19 shots in that Wrecker revolver. Luckily for him, he at the bare minimum has Pump on his team. But underneath, sharks in the ocean. They're ready to take a bite out of NA West, but Malabuka's trying to beat him first. They crash pad towards the high ground, and they solidify it while Surge reactivates. Down goes Pump. Pars is now officially on the clock, which runs out, and he's out of the game for good.
But these audio cues aren't doing Malabuka's team any favors, because Fernoxy, Gino, Pablo directly underneath, more than happy to see if they can close in. They knew that there were weakened trios directly above them, but they just want to see how bad off are they really. They're still trailing underneath, but watch Malabuka attempting to hold height. They might only be a duo, Jacob, but they have so much surge.
62 points. That's the difference between first and second place. And the time is truly running out. They have to make sure Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy somehow go down outside of the top 8 as they continue to move through. It's becoming more and more impossible. There's 600 plus damage above the threshold. They're looking down to the backside of zone, trying to figure out where the weakness is for any of these trios trying to rotate in. Even with Kanata down below, they're lurking. No visual audios, but if you look at the sky, that's Marius, Vanya, and Pixie, but they lose Vanya throughout this mix. They're on that middle ground where all the chaos ensues.
Vanya just barely managing to start to get his life back up to a healthy level. Swizzy, Mustache, Queasy though, they see the high ground. They're starting to go for the chop. Malabuka gonna be forced to drop eventually, but can Malabuka even get down in the first place? I don't think so. He's a victim of the lobby now. Swizzy, Queasy, they don't hesitate. They're immediately surging upwards. They know height domination is where the thrill will be tested.
On the high ground right now, they're getting challenged, but they're fighting for it all. It's Pixie, it's Marius, and Vanya. If they want the win, this is the moment right here. Swizzy goes down. Mustache has fallen. It is all up to Queasy and Taco. There are more than enough points still left on the board for them to overtake the first place spot, but they have to survive. Vanya goes down. Marius is gonna have to pop that slurp juice and reunite with Pixie.
But where's Queasy? Pixie and Marius, they're so incredibly low. They're not gonna be able to save Vanya. They'll at least get everything that he had to offer at the final moments. But Marius, Pixie, as a duo, they've got to find Queasy. They don't know where he's gone off to. Seti in the low ground. If Marius and Pixie aren't careful, they might run
place locked in. It's all or nothing. Down goes PH, but no! Marius is now down as well. Pixie with the pressure on his shoulders. You gotta remember though, Queasy is down. They are 50 points shy. He needs to win, but he gets denied. Mustache, Queasy, and Swizzy have done it.
It was the final moment. It was going to be so bittersweet, no matter the outcome for the gentle mates here, Jacob. But Queasy has finally overcome. The GOAT debate has been settled. He is the GOAT of Fortnite when it comes to IG yelling and as a player in general. And he's got two GOATs with him. It's Swizzy and Mustache.
But there's still hundreds of thousands of dollars split between these teams still left alive. A good chunk of them at the top of the leaderboard, including Pablo, who's trying to have that solo run, but that one gets ended, and rather quickly as he was by himself. Now it's Seti and Yapko. They're one of 3 teams left alive. Panzer's trying to move in, 20 HP. He's quickly running out of builds. Seti as well, but he's gonna go out. Cammy, his invitational partner, has done it again. He ends his show. He said, no, you will not pass me. You will not take my money, as Cooper and Curly are still down below. 2v3 situation, 3v1. I drop Dari and Cammy win the final game of the day.
What an impossibly crazy finish. Nobody could have possibly anticipated that it would all come down to this final match. In day one, we saw Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache leading the charge. They had such a monumental lead over the entirety of the lobby, but it still all came down to the wire. They knew it was a marathon from the get-go, but they sprinted across the finish line to claim the title as your 2025 Global Champions.
A year-long journey just to get to this point. 12 games, almost 700 points, 3 victory royales. They have done it.
It almost seems as if it hasn't even fully keyed in yet. Mustache and Swizzy, they're letting